Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Off and running. Welcome in hour number 2 after further review here on a Thursday. Final day of the week for us here. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Braxton Rizzuto, Cassie Spazzali along for the ride. And glad to have you along for the ride here as well as we get set to send you into your 4th of July weekend. Really good show. So far, remember, we reacted to the latest LSU baseball transfer portal commit, right-handed pitcher Caden Smith. That was a really fun conversation. Talked to some New Orleans Saints as well. There's going to be a documentary on Brendan Soares. We covered all of that in hour number 1, and still a lot to get to here in hours 2 and 3. Tyler Shuck has made an appearance in Pro Football Focus's quarterback rankings for 2026. Talk a little bit about that, his strengths, his weaknesses, where he needs to improve, all things that Pro Football Focus dove into. So we'll get to that a little bit later on in the show as well. LSU baseball, we knew they were going to head out to Vegas for the Live Like Lou Classic. Once again, a peak events tournament here in 2027. We now know the field, and it is awesome. And I can't wait to talk about that at the bottom of this hour, as well as an honor for an incoming LSU transfer that you're going to hear about as well. So we'll do that in a few moments as we move through the hour. Are expecting a announcement from Greedy James, 4-star defensive back, that LSU is favored to flip from Texas here today. It seems like that ceremony is underway now. I was hoping that we would kind of have the announcement straight up 4:00, but we we'll wait and see for that to come down. But all of it is expected. All the expectation is heaped upon that for it to be Greedy James flipping from Texas to LSU. So while we wait for that ceremony to wrap up, let's move ahead here, and we'll pass along an update on LSU basketball's roster building. So Glenn West over at On 3, you got to remember, Glenn moved to On 3 now. He had this report earlier today about Yam Madar and LSU. So if you're unfamiliar with Yam Madar, he's one of the more highly touted, sought-after international prospects that LSU was going after. Was playing in Israel. He's an Israeli guard. And he was going to be one of the guys really at the heart of eligibility fight with RJ Lewis. LSU was looking to argue he should be allowed an eligibility in a year of eligibility in college because of military service. You'll remember we've talked about this plenty, and you've seen the NCAA accept that in the past for international players alike, where it's mandated by their country, their home country, that they have to serve in the military. Madar had to go through that. So LSU seemed like they had felt pretty good about that. And the last few days, again, according to this report from Glenn, Madar and his current team in Israel have announced a parting of ways, which you would assume opens the door, right, for him to join LSU, for them to go have this eligibility fight, and for him to play in the purple and gold. And if only it were so simple. Now, other reports have surfaced, these coming from Basket News. Never heard of Basket News. But, I mean, you look at this, they certainly have a foothold in basketball news, but especially international basketball news, so we'll trust them. That Madar is also now weighing staying overseas and joining another professional club. One of them in Jerusalem and another one in Tel Aviv to further his basketball career. So that maybe is a little bit of an unexpected hitch potentially in this plan for LSU to get Madar to campus, go through the eligibility fight, and have him there. Obviously, no decision has been made. I'm not here to speculate if that's a decision between LSU and him that, okay, maybe the eligibility thing wasn't going to go the way they wanted. That's not what I'm here to do. Obviously, I guess that could be a portion of this, but the news is he's parted ways with his team, which you would think opens the door for him to join LSU. But now, again, the reports from our our great friends over at Basket News that he is weighing options to stay overseas and continue his professional career with a team in Jerusalem and or another team in Tel Aviv. So the more important thing there is, okay, what does that mean for LSU in 2026, 2027? Because the roster building from this offseason has just been kind of unlike anything we've seen. At least in college basketball, or at least that we're used to here at LSU. Will Wade really employing a new approach here. So, and as we've talked about here, I know I've talked about this when we've mentioned LSU basketball when I've been filling in for Scone, is guard is like, it's the one thing you're missing. You started out with this class and you got a lot of shooters. Like, you got buckets in this class early. And everyone was looking at it going, hey, man, well, Will Wade's teams could always score at LSU, but they kind of struggle with defending. Where are the defenders? And then those came later. You know, like Salu Niang, like Bryce Desire. Like, I mean, all those guys that we talked about, and you've really bolstered this class, provided you get everybody through eligibility, this class with scoring and defense and length and athleticism and all of those things. What you haven't done is found a point guard to really be able to distribute the ball to those guys. Like Abdi Bashir is a scorer. He's a 2. Like, he's not going to go out there and really distribute the basketball for you. You're going to get the ball to him and let him shoot, let him score. When you look at the guards that kind of have Divine Ugachukwu, obviously from Michigan State, Austin Nunez, also on this team. Those guys are certainly capable of handling, but they maybe aren't the most dynamic point guards that you would like to see dish out the ball. I mean, think kind of like DJ Thomas a year ago. I mean, that is a true point guard. You're kind of missing that piece still from this team. So Ugachukwu, Nunez, they're on the team. They're capable of doing that. But that really still is maybe that one area that you look at this LSU team and you go, okay, can you get that guy there to really get the ball to your scorers? Madar certainly could have been that, still can be. But the eligibility case does present hurdles other than the military. I mean, he's going to turn 26 years old during the basketball season. That was a hurdle that LSU would obviously have to get over there. But if he decides against staying in the professional leagues over there overseas, you know, playing for a new club and coming to LSU, well, then you've got another guard who can really bolster your team. That's a great sign for LSU. If not, where do you turn? And I think that's the question that really lingers, that makes this whole situation interesting, is where LSU turns if Madar does indeed decide to remain overseas and continue his professional career. We'll keep you posted, obviously, as that unfolds. All right, so we do. It's at further review, AFR here on a Thursday. Musso in for Moscona. We now do have the official announcement. Greedy James has flipped his commitment from Texas. He will join LSU's signing class. It's a 4-star defensive back. How about this? We'll grab a break. We'll come back on the other side. We'll give you a full reaction to Greedy James joining LSU's class next here on AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured and it's not your fault, do what injured people in Louisiana have done for more than 30 years. Call Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. 888-8888. It's all 8s. 888-8888. I don't even need to give you the area code because no matter where you are in the state, it doesn't matter. Just dial 888-8888 for Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Gordon does an awesome job, man. He's a great person. They've been so invested in our communities with all the charitable and service work that they do. They give back into the communities that they represent, no matter what time of year. If it's the bike giveaway for kids around Christmas time, if it's the laptop giveaway around back to school time, if it's the charitable work they do during October for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, they're always involved in the community. We tell you all the time, of course, about the G team and what Gordon's done with NIL and the opportunities that he's afforded student athletes. Just a great, great community partner. If you've been injured, you need representation, go to getgordon.com. That's getgordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
Love telling you about River Parish Contractors. rpcontractors.com is the website if you're looking for work, or you may not even know you're looking for work. River Parish Contractors, you need to make this call. Call Big Jake over at River Parish Contractors because they got tons of work lined up. So you want overtime? They got as much overtime as you want. So you never have to. A lot of places want to hire, give you a good rate, but they don't want you to work overtime. Not a River Parish Contractors. They got as much overtime as you want to work. You want to work night shifts when it's cooler? You could do that. You want to work day shifts? Got it. Look, there's no rainouts. They have amazing benefits. They've got PTO. If you're a welder, pipe fitter, pipe cutter, you got to get in touch with my friends over at River Parish Contractors. Call Big Jake or go to rpcontractors.com, rpcontractors.com. Right there in Reserve, River Parish Contractors, rpcontractors.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
All right, well, what was really one of the worst kept secrets here over the past few weeks, this is not really new, LSU, they have pulled off the flip. Greedy James, defensive back, class of 2027, is now in the LSU Tigers class, flipping over from the Texas Longhorns game. We said this is kind of really one of the worst kept secrets over the last few weeks. We had Shay Dixon with us yesterday, and Shay even pointed out Texas yesterday took a commitment from a defensive back in Brandon Sherrard, expecting that Greedy James would not be part of this class. So as we said, 4-star. He's LSU's 15th commit now for the class of 2027. We'll see what that does for them kind of in like the rankings and whatnot. Their class stands at 13th before the commitment. He's the number 28 safety, number 47 player out of the state of Texas. Comes from Manville High School in Manville, Texas. Big time high school football over there in Texas. Manville's part of that. So it's a really good class as well. I mentioned Shay Dixon was with us yesterday. When he was with us yesterday, he touched on Greedy Williams and his recruitment, what the Tigers are getting.
Texas has him committed as a safety. That's where he's ranked as a 4-star. But Corey Raymond has recruited him at corner and has kind of done that from the start. And I mentioned before on the show, his dad, Greedy James's dad, is from New Orleans, graduated from St. Aug. His uncle graduated from St. Aug. So he's got Louisiana ties here that are more than just how did they flip a kid from Texas? How are they going to go about and do that? Was it just money? No, it's, I think, one, development. I think this is a kid who's buying into the Corey Raymond DBU philosophy, and the other is having those connections to Louisiana. Kind of made that official visit, as he told us, kind of really comfortable for him, his parents. His uncle was on the visit too, so you had a couple St. Aug grads on that visit. And when he announces tomorrow, I fully expect the pick to be LSU, and that would give Corey his 2 cornerbacks, and then we see if they add any more from there.
So there you go. I mean, it's Shay calling a shot. It hits. Second cornerback commitment. It is interesting to see him be safety. Texas had him committed as a safety. Really, everybody else was recruiting him as a safety. LSU recruits him as cornerback. Look, I think we all trust Corey Raymond's eye and Corey Raymond's development when it comes to those guys. When we literally joked and laughed and all those things about, when LSU got Marquez Davis, the other cornerback, into this class, and it's like, well, it's long 6'3" guy, a 3-star, small Opelousas, Northwest High School in Louisiana, basically the Corey Raymond special, right? And we all just kind of look at that and go, yeah, it makes sense. Like we're not gonna sneeze that. Same thing here. Corey Raymond thinks this guy can play cornerback. Then I think he can play cornerback. I obviously trust Corey Raymond's evaluation there implicitly. I mean, I think he's earned the benefit of the doubt there. No one's gonna really push back there. So it gives you the 2 in the class. Shay said we'll see if they add any more. We kind of talked a little bit later in that interview about safety and corner, and Shay's like, I think they kind of wanted 2 for each of those positions. So maybe they're done, but that's 2 really good pieces that you add in here. I mean, again, Williams fits that mold, 6'1", 170, long guy, what Corey likes at corner. So you love that aspect. What's interesting about it, though, is when you look at LSU's cornerback room, that is a room That is not short on numbers. And you're adding 2 more here in this class. I went through it today, and just looking at scholarship cornerbacks on LSU's squad for 2026, for the upcoming season, I counted 9 scholarship corners. Now, Aiden Anding's injured, so he won't play this season. Remember, he had the Achilles in actually on an interception during spring practice this past spring. So he's out. So maybe we're really looking at 8. And while cornerback depth is maybe an issue this year because of that, I mean, Lane Kiffin has spoke about that kind of at length. We've played those cuts for you numerous times. After Anding's injury, he's like, yeah, someone's got to step up. And then at the end of spring, did anyone step up? No, we're still looking. And, they go and they add, from the JUCO ranks, they're really trying to find a body that can really come in and contribute immediately like they were expecting Aiden Anding to do before his injury. So while you look at it this year and you say, okay, after Pickett, Woodland, Jakeem Jackson, what do you have there kind of behind that? It looks like a problem. But going forward, this is one of the deepest rooms on LSU's team. So like I said, I counted 9. All 9 of them have eligibility remaining. All of them. DJ Pickett's a sophomore. He'll be back next year. You'll have Aiden Anding coming off of injury. He'll be back. Jakeem Jackson can obviously come back. He's a redshirt junior. Now you have the 5 for 5. He might even end up with another year because he falls in there, although he has redshirted. But still, he still has a 5th year if he wanted to return. That doesn't even count the 3 freshmen that you just brought in with Haven Finney, who was like a top 10 cornerback in the country. He's obviously got eligibility that he'll definitely have. Amari Peterson goes in there. Des Ellis. Those are the 3 that you brought in. Like, you have a lot of bodies there. Now, I'm also not naive, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you, hey, man, all 9 of them are going to come back next year. No, that's not going to happen at all. It's going to be one of the more fascinating positions to watch in the transfer portal actually after next year. You have a guy in P.J. Woodland. P.J. Woodland, who really burst onto the scene a year ago after, playing sporadically as a freshman, really kind of showing out at times, and then starting all 13 games, having a great season for LSU. It's very likely that he builds on that and ends up a draft pick come April. So he'll probably forego his extra year of eligibility. But the point is, all of them have that option if they wanted to return. Yes, some will enter the portal. You'll probably get an experienced player potentially there out of the portal, depending on how this year goes with some of the freshmen you brought in or some of the guys behind Aiden Anding. And again, you'll have Anding back. So you'll have turnover there. But you're bringing in 2 more to add to a crowded room already. But in that cut, Shea said something about Greedy James that's very intriguing when he's talking about, hey, how do you get this guy to flip from Texas, right? Everyone's going to, in today's age, you're going to assume, money. LSU paid him more. They dropped the bag. Shea was very quick to say, no, it's Louisiana ties. Multiple people in his family went to St. Aug. They're originally from New Orleans. Those ties bind, man. Like, we know that about Louisiana. But it was the second part of it when he talked about the development. And doesn't that just play into every conversation we've had about LSU high school recruiting to date here? They're looking for guys who are going to come, stay, and develop. It's the same thing with a guy like Marquez Davis, who's the 3-star we touched on earlier, the other cornerback in this class from Opelousas, Louisiana guy who fits the mold, who needs some development, who's going to come, work with Corey Raymond, stay, and get better. Greedy James certainly feels like he fits that mold as well. Louisiana ties, come, stay, develop. If this was about money, if this is about immediate playing time, there were other options, and he could have stayed committed to Texas. He didn't. He wanted to be at LSU. He wanted to play for Corey Raymond. He's really bought in to that model, and he will be a very talented piece to add to your cornerback room. This feels like a significant get for LSU, especially when you look at how the cornerback recruiting played out. Josh Dobson, who committed to South Carolina Wednesday night, who we just talked about. I mean, that, in the past recruiting era, that's Corey Raymond's guy. He's the top cornerback in the nation. They have the great relationship. Boom. LSU is going to get him. I mean, go down the list. It's happened time and time again. And then Corey would go find, his 6'3" project and all that and developing, and you'd end up with 2 great cornerbacks on your squad. But for Dobson, LSU wasn't going to pay that much. Why? What we just went through with the cornerback room. That article we referenced yesterday from Pete Nakos, where he talked to all the general managers and whatnot, Dobson was mentioned there. And Dobson was mentioned as getting $1.5 million from South Carolina. Like, that was the offer that he had. That's the number that was stated in there from a Power 4 general manager. LSU's not about that right now at the cornerback position. Why? They have numbers. They feel good at that room. Let's go get guys who want to be here, who will stay and develop. Greedy James, Marquez Davis. That's your cornerback class right now. And I'll tell you right now, it looks like a pretty darn good cornerback class. So Greedy James officially now flips from Texas into LSU's class. That gives LSU, as we said at the top of this, 15 commits here for the class of 2027, and now 2 cornerbacks in the class as well. We're still waiting on Jaden Anding, Aiden's brother. He could be LSU's first safety commit. Remember, if you're unfamiliar there, Jaden Anding was set to announce Wednesday at 12:30. All signs really indicated LSU over Ole Miss there. He postponed that decision when we had Shea Dixon on the show yesterday. He really said it's kind of a more get your ducks in the row, cross the T's, dot the I's thing. It's still LSU, more than likely for Jaden Anding. We're still just waiting on that official word to come down. So he likely is the next one to join LSU's class. We just have to wait and see ultimately when we get to that point. But for now, Greedy James has pulled the trigger and flipped from Texas to LSU. All right, we're going to grab a break. Before we do that, though,
Brought to you by Evamore. Drink Evamore, EVAMOR, Evamore.com, Evamore.com. For elite athletes, for someone who just wants a healthier lifestyle. Maybe you're a parent, you want a healthier option for your children. Evamore is a great option. I would highly encourage you, bottom line, if you're drinking tap water, don't. Bare minimum, filter your tap water. But the best option is Evamore. This is natural artesian water. It's underground aquifers on the north shore of Lake Pontchartrain, right there in Covington. They dug a well into that aquifer, and I mean, it's literally thousands of years in the making. That's why they call it Mother Nature's masterpiece. That's what they're pulling out of the ground. The only filtration is take like the sediment from the ground out of the water, and it goes right into the bottle. So it never touches air until you uncap it, take that first delicious sip. Learn more where you can buy it, great retailers or online, EVAMOR, Evamore.com.
All right. Without further review here on a Thursday, Musso in for Moscona. We're going to grab a break. When we come back on the other side, we'll flip back to some LSU baseball. The Live Like Lou Vegas Classic Tournament field has been announced, and the date. So we know LSU's opponents and the dates when the baseball team will head out to Vegas next spring for that little round-robin event. The tournament field is awesome. I'm very excited about that. So I want to talk about that and what it could mean for LSU season in 2027, as well as an honor for an incoming LSU transfer to tell you about as well. So that's next here on AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Don Moore, Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. You know those 4 locations, and what an awesome time to get by Clegg's Nursery because they still have every single day shipments of flowers coming in, plants, trees, shrubs. You want to beautify the exterior of your home. You want to add that pop of color to your flower bed, to your patio pots. Maybe you got unwanted pests like ants or snakes or mosquitoes, wasps. They can help you take care of all of them. Maybe you got weeds coming up in your lawn. You want to get rid of that. Maybe you got dead spots in your lawn. The horticulturists, the professionals at Clegg's Nursery have the knowledge, the know-how, the expertise, and all the products you need to win Yard of the Month every month for your whole life. Guaranteed. Actually, I can't back that up. You have to do some of the work, too. It's Clegg's Nursery.
After further review with Matt Musso.
Quick reminder about Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. They're the best. If you are, gentlemen, thinking about popping the question and you're thinking about where am I going to go buy that diamond, I want you to consider this. there are places that will sell you man-made lab diamonds, but what are you buying? It's according to its makeup and characteristics, sure, diamond. But is it going to hold its value? Like, is that the way you want to say, I love you, I want to spend the rest of my life with you? Go to Lee Michaels. Go to Lee Michaels. Walk in the door. Experience the thing I talk about all the time, which is the Lee Michaels experience. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry with 10 locations. Baton Rouge, 2 locations in Baton Rouge. New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, Mississippi, Texas as well. 10 locations across 3 states. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Thrill her, gentlemen. Thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry.
All right, so earlier during LSU's baseball season, it was on Jay Johnson's radio show one week. He had announced that LSU was going to head out to Vegas for a peak events tournament like Frisco and Jacksonville, like they played in this past year. They're going to go to Vegas and play in the Live Like Glue Las Vegas College Baseball Classic. Of course, this past year was the Live Like Glue Jacksonville Classic. This one, of course, in Vegas. We didn't know the opponents or the field or anything at that time. Now we do. That was announced earlier here on Thursday, and wow. So the tournament will take place Friday through Sunday, like it always does, March 5th through the 7th in 2027. LSU will be in Vegas. They will face, in some order, we don't know the order that the opponents are going to be, Arizona State, Iowa, and Oregon State. Yo, that's a field. Now, that's a field. Because I'm going to tell you, Jay loves the peak events, and they're great events. They're put on very well. It's a first-class operation. Like, he loves to go to those. He went to them at Arizona. I will say, though, over the last couple of years, I've been a little disappointed in the fields that LSU's faced. Not necessarily because it hurt your resume. LSU plays in the SEC. This isn't really a resume conversation. Now, it can't, you're not going to turn down the help that it can give your resume, obviously, when you have a field like this one. But just from maybe the competition level, when you go back through these and, you look at this past year in Jacksonville and, LSU faced Notre Dame, Indiana, UCF. Like, UCF was the only team out of that bunch to make the NCAA tournament. Granted, LSU didn't make the NCAA tournament either. But, I mean, that's the only bunch there. Notre Dame obviously had some good players. I mean, hell, Waters. He's coming to play for LSU now. Like, you saw good players, but it's not necessarily the top flight programs. And that's really been kind of an issue of mine with not just the peak events. When LSU was in the College Classic in Houston this last time in 2024, you faced Texas, but there was also Texas State, ULL. ULL, really good program. Texas State, good program. Not Arizona State, Oregon State, like not that branding. So to get to play 2 of those in one tournament, that's huge. And then Iowa, awesome. The last time LSU played Iowa in a peak event was 2023. Iowa beat them, actually. Who was the pitcher that Iowa had? Oh, man. He threw 100. He didn't know where it was going, but he threw 100. He also was a wide receiver on their football team, but he had given that up and concentrated on golf. It's a Happy Gilmore reference. He'd given that up and really focused solely on baseball, and I cannot remember his name. But Iowa made the NCAA tournament of the year, and Sam Houston, who LSU played that year also. So that's the last time LSU has faced a field where 2 teams made the NCAA tournament. You're looking at the potential probably for all 3 of these teams maybe, but Arizona State and Oregon State are going to be there. So I love that, again, not from a resume standpoint, but for the test that it's going to give you early in the season. Because, again, no disrespect to Indiana, UCF, and Notre Dame a year ago, but LSU looked like the best team in the country that weekend, and it turns out LSU was playing their best baseball of the season that weekend as well. And they looked invincible, and then you got into league play, and all of that kind of unraveled. these are going to be great tests. When you face Arizona State, that's a really good offense that your pitching staff's going to have to go up against. And by the way, Landon Hairston, Harry Bonds, who was runner-up for the Golden Spikes Award, he's back. Like, you're going to get to face that guy when you go face Arizona State in Vegas. Love that aspect of it. Willie Bloomquist has done a great job. That team gave Ole Miss everything they wanted in the Lincoln Regional this past postseason. That's a really good program historically, and that Willie Bloomquist has going in the right direction. And again, a marquee player who was a Golden Spikes runner-up like Landon Harrison, who LSU will get to face. That's awesome. Love that. Oregon State. We know the type of program that Oregon State is. 3 national championships. Pat Casey built a powerhouse that has continued. The interesting thing there is I don't think Dax Whitney, their ace pitcher, will be back from Tommy John when you play them in March. That might be more of a April-May type thing for Oregon State, so you might dodge that, but you know Oregon State has plenty of pitching to go around, and you're going to see marquee player. I mean, that's a team, a program that was in Omaha in 2025 when LSU was there. Recent success is back with Oregon State, so I love that. And then, yes, that's going to give you the true test that you really, really want to see, that so many people clamored for this season when LSU, when it didn't go, when it went poorly for them in conference play. You heard, well, they weren't prepared for SEC, and I don't necessarily think that's totally true. I think that could be a part of it. And I mean, I did just tell you, like, I wish you had a better field to where you could get that test, and you will this year, and I like that. But that's not the whole reason LSU wasn't very good this year. They just weren't very good. You missed in the portal. You couldn't throw strikes. You couldn't field the ball to save your life. Like, we understand why they went wrong, but you clamored for it. Here it is. That is 2 Power 4 teams, but I count Oregon State as that with the talent level that they get. So 3. And you know Oregon State's going to win a bunch of games because, well, their schedule isn't great anymore now they're not in the league. I guess the new Pac-12 or whatever it is. It's not a Power 4 league, but they'll be back in a conference, so that might dictate their schedule a little bit more, but they're going to be easily the best baseball team in that conference. So, they'll win a lot of games, and the RPI is based off of wins, so you beat Oregon State. That'll help you. Hell, even if you don't, it'll be a very good loss. So this is great all around. The other thing that's great is LSU's going to go out to West Coast, and they're going to get put on a different body clock, and they're going to really have to, adjust to that, which is fantastic, and they'll actually stay out there on Monday the 8th and play a game against UNLV. So I love it. I love the field. Love the test you're going to get. Love the players you're going to get to go up against. And, yeah, I mean, it's not going to hurt your resume. Although, again, LSU's not going to be in a situation like they were this past season very often where you're looking at an RPI in like the 70s. LSU, more often than not, their resume is going to really take care of themselves. But, of course, this doesn't hurt. So I'm fired up about that. And I tell you what, if LSU fans, if you needed any more incentive to go out to Las Vegas for this event, like, why would you? I mean, it's LSU fans in Vegas. It goes together, like cereal and milk. But this field is even more of the incentive. I mean, I don't even care who LSU opens up with or plays the second week. Get me to like week 3 when they go out there to Vegas so I can watch these games. It's going to be awesome, awesome baseball for 3 days. And who doesn't want to watch Oregon State and Arizona State, right? I mean, it's just round robin deal. Like, all those teams are going to play each other. That's going to be an awesome tournament event. And if you can get out there, get out there. And again, it's Vegas and LSU fans. That's awesome. So looking forward to that 100%. That's what I've been wanting to get. That's the best field on paper since Jay Johnson's first year when LSU played in Houston in the Astros deal, and they played an Oklahoma team that played for a national championship that season, beat them too, and they played Texas when the Longhorns were number 1 in the country. Like, this is the best field on paper since Jay Johnson's first year for a non-conference tournament. Fired up for that. All right, before we hit a break, another LSU baseball note here. Let's switch gears. D1 baseball, they released their All-American teams from this past season, and incoming LSU transfer Landon Hood, second-team freshman All-America from D1 baseball. You love to see that. Of course, he was the freshman of the year in the WAC. Comes from Gonzaga. We know that. He was their best pitcher a year ago, had 4 starts, 5 saves, big-time fastball, awesome changeup that I just cannot wait to continue to watch. And a guy that's going to come here, try to compete and break into the starting rotation for LSU. If that doesn't work, he's going to be a great relief piece for you as well. So awesome to see him get that honor. Freshman All-America, second team from D1 baseball. That's LSU righty Landon Hood, of course, who transfers in from Gonzaga. He's just, man, he's going to be a really big piece. That's a guy who, again, depending on which service you look at, Baseball America had him as the number 2 player in the transfer portal, regardless of position. On3 had him as the number 3 portal. Like, that is the crown jewel of the transfer portal class on the pitching side is Landon Hood. That's why, and he's multiple years of eligibility, which I love. That's a guy you can get in here, develop, he can stay. That's why, like, man, if he doesn't break into the rotation this year, which I think he'll be given an opportunity to do that, why wouldn't you? And if he does, great. If he doesn't, oh well. He's an awesome bullpen piece for you, and then hopefully he stays, develops, and you can get him into the rotation for his draft year. Like, the ceiling is just so high for Landon Hood, and even when he faced Power 4 competition, and as a freshman at Gonzaga, he didn't give up a run. He did not give up an earned run at all against Power 4 competition as his freshman year. So that's going to be a big piece, and it's easy to see why when you look at those numbers and everything we just spout off that, all right, yeah, makes sense that he's a freshman All-America from D1 baseball. So congratulations to Landon Hood. Big things ahead for him at LSU. We'll see him get to pitch out there in Vegas against those great teams in that great field. We'll grab a break, come back on the other side. It's hour number 2. After further review here on a Thursday, Musso in for Moscona. Tigers and the Pros is next.
AFR.
DuplessisPools.com, DuplessisPools.com, DuplessisPools.com. Go to DuplessisPools.com and start building your dream pool today. DuplessisPools.com. Hat tip to my friend Derek Duplessis and the great staff, as for the second consecutive year, Duplessis Pools was named a top 50 pool builder in America by Pool & Spa magazine. As a matter of fact, Duplessis Pools was the only pool builder in the state of Louisiana to receive that honor. DuplessisPools.com is the website, DuplessisPools.com. Yesterday was awesome. Me, Erica, Drew spent part of our Sunday cooling off in the pool. Might have had a cold Bud Light or two. It's a great way to spend those summer days. Great way to have parties, showpiece. That dream can be your reality as well. But start at DuplessisPools.com. You can design your pool online. You can finance it online. Pay for it right now. It's DuplessisPools.com. Check them out online. It's DuplessisPools.com. Need a steel building? Proform Steel. I want you to remember the name. Why use Proform Steel? Well, I got tons of reasons. Here's a few. How about the lead times? 6 to 8 weeks from signed contract out the door. They'll get it to you quicker. Free delivery on every building. You buy it from them, they'll deliver it for free. It's Proform Steel. You can even order online. You can pick the style, size, color, doors, submit the form, get a call back the same day. And at Proform Steel, they use American-made materials on everything. No exceptions. It's Proform Steel. Maybe you need a shed in your backyard. Maybe we're talking about a big industrial facility. Need a steel building? You want Proform Steel. Make sure you call Brandon Golson, you know the name, at Proform Steel. Check them out, Proform Steel.
After further review with Matt Musso.
All right, welcome back in after further review here on a Thursday. Musso in for Moscona. Moscona's about to head out on vacation, too. So he's out next week as well. This will be our last day of the week. We'll observe 4th of July tomorrow, take the extended weekend holiday, and be back on Monday. Got some things in the work for Monday's show already that I don't think you're going to want to miss. Looking forward to Monday's show as we get closer to there. But before we get there, obviously we have some business to attend to close out hour number 2. That, of course, is Tigers and the Pros.
Tigers in the Pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right, so Dylan Cruz for the Washington Nationals last night went 2 of 3 from the plate, along with 2 walks, 1 strikeout. The Nationals get the win over the Red Sox 10-2.
What's Cruz hitting now?
I think it was 240 something.
I was say he's got to be getting up there.
He's getting up there. He's definitely
he's been
improving.
hot. He's really been hot lately. And ignore the fact that you said they beat the Red Sox 10-2, but he's really hot right now, and we like that for Dylan Cruz.
Alex Bregman for the Chicago Cubs last night went 1 of 5 from the plate, along with 1 walk and 1 run. Cubs get a dominant win, 23-3 over the Padres. 17 hits in that game.
Saw that. Shout out Hunt Palmer. I know he's watching that at the beach somewhere, just smiling ear to ear. He's big Dansby Swanson guy now. Hunt Palmer is.
Go Cubs, go! Paul Skeens for the Pittsburgh Pirates pitched 4 innings, gave up 6 hits, 2 home runs, 7 runs earned, 5 strikeouts, and 2 walks. Cam Sanders comes in for Skeens. He pitched 1 1/3 inning. Gave up 1 hit, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. So he put up some decent for just 1 innings. He had 2 strikeouts, but
Braxton, you might not know this. This is a huge Cam Sanders show.
yeah,
We love Cam Sanders here on AFR. Absolutely. He's been on the show. His dad's been on the show. Scott, big fans of the Sanders family here on AFR.
awesome, perfect. Yeah, Pirates ends up losing 6-10 to the Phillies. The WNBA come out with their top 50 players of the season so far. 3 of their targets made the list. Angel Reese for the Atlanta Dream at number 13, Anissa Morrow with the Kinetic Sun at 42, and Flau'jae Johnson with the Seattle Storm at 49.
We talked about Flau'jae yesterday, man.
We did. Back-to-back days.
Potential rookie of the year there for Flau'jae. Good to see Angel and Anissa on there as well, man. That's a great era of LSU women's basketball.
Yeah, hopefully, I mean, with all the South Carolina players in the league now, hopefully LSU kind of makes their way up that ladder as well.
Be nice.
It'd be nice to see. Very nice. But that is your latest on Tigers in the Pros.
This is after further review here on a Thursday. Musso in for Moscona. Have a little bit of time here. Let's hit the Shaw Bills live, and then I'll get into something here briefly. Shaw Bills?
Brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. 18 locations in South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you at ShawBillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service and name brand tires at wholesale prices. They will always find a way to get you the best possible price for the best possible tires on the road. That's what they do at Shaw Bills. And when they get you in by selling you the best tires, the cheapest price possible, they're going to treat you like family, and they're going to treat you so good you're going to keep coming back year after year after year every time you need anything for your vehicle. Tires rotated, oil changed, check engine light on, brakes squeaking, whatever's wrong with your vehicle, bring it to Shaw Bills. Let them give it the once-over, and you can always schedule online, so it's convenient. ShawBillsTire.com. Find the location nearest you at ShawBillsTire.com. Shop tires online at ShawBillsTire.com. Be sure to ask about the Shaw Bills credit card as well, because you can save $50 off your first purchase when you use the Shaw Bills credit card only at Shaw Bills.
So I was doing some show prep earlier and just kind of, looking through articles and whatnot, and found this. I mean, this is just peak ESPN summer content. My God. They went through and picked the best college football player ever to wear their number. And I read it out of sheer intrigue, knowing I wouldn't spend a lot of time on it on the show, if any. In fact, it wasn't even on the rundown. We just had a moment here. The sheer intrigue was, man, did any LSU players make it? And I think we're all thinking of one that we knew would, and he did. Joe Burrow was listed as the best player in college football history to wear number 9. I mean, makes sense. Joe Burrow's season in 2019 was just euphoric. That whole year for LSU football was euphoric. But, I mean, Joe is still the only player in SEC history to throw for at least 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns. I mean, he had over 6,000 yards of total offense and scored 65 touchdowns that year. He was just insane. Largest margin of victory with the Heisman Trophy. So, I mean, you knew he would get that honor in this piece. And, I mean, it's not really an honor. I mean, I guess it didn't really matter. But it's still, man, it's pretty cool to see there. He was the only LSU player on the list, although in doing this, they always listed like the guy who and it was multiple people, like Andrea Adelson was involved in this, just multiple people over at ESPN. It was a staff report. The winner, so to speak, of the best player to wear that number, and then 3 others. So LSU did have a couple guys and 3 others. Patrick Peterson was mentioned in the 3 others for number 7. Glenn Dorsey was actually mentioned as the first of the three others for number 72. That's really the other guy I was looking for on this list would be Glenn Dorsey, but he lost out to Bronco Nagurski, which, I mean, I guess, look, if you have an award named after you, yeah, sure, you kind of deserve to be the best player to ever wear that number. Like Doak Walker was on here, Davey O'Brien. Like, if you have an award, fine, but I mean, Glenn Dorsey's season, his career at LSU, but really his 07 season, man, he was awesome. He was really the only other one that I thought could make it for LSU, but he was in the three others for 72 and the first runner up there. So I guess the only logical thing now is to retire his number at LSU or his jersey, whatnot, and get that up in the rafters. 72 needs to hang along with 3, along with 9. That's what we're kind of waiting on there with LSU, but thought that was cool. I guess if I just pick through it a little bit more. Also, you should know number 7 was Michael Vick, which, I mean, yeah, of course, like Michael Vick was awesome. The one that was super interesting, there were 2 that were super interesting to me, was number 5, and it went to Darren McFadden. Over Reggie Bush, LaDainian Tomlinson, and Christian McCaffrey. Number 5 is just a squad. I personally would have given that to Reggie Bush. He won the Heisman Trophy. He beat out Darren McFadden, for one of those Heisman trophies as well. But, I mean, McFadden was awesome, man. Consistent All-American, unanimous All-American, 2-time Heisman runner-up. I would have gone with Reggie Bush there. And then the other one was number 13. They gave it to Caleb Williams, which I just couldn't really disagree with more. I mean, Dan Marino wore 13. Tua wore 13. Tua won a Heisman just like Caleb Williams, but he also won a national title. Dan Marino, was awesome at Pitt. I mean, all right. I think Caleb Williams could have picked somebody better there, but whatever. I was really surprised that Reggie Bush didn't get number 5, but shouts out to Joe Burrow, man, getting number 9. Tebow was 15, makes sense. Who was number 2? I don't remember. Oh, Deion Sanders. Yeah, that makes sense. Sorry, Cam Newton. Deion Sanders. All right. I've already spent more time than I really needed to on that, but we had time. Thought it was interesting. Kind of just run through it. One of those things you keep in your back pocket. We're going to grab a break. Come back on the other side. Sports Center. It'll get you caught up on your national headlines. Then we'll talk some New Orleans Saints. Tyler Shuck, Pro Football Focus, is ranked the quarterbacks based on their metrics for the 2026 season.
AFR.
Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, as we say, together we roar. Part of the Franciscan Missionaries of Our Lady Health System. And, I love telling you about Our Lady of the Lake because whenever we talk about healthcare, Our Lady of the Lake understands the 2 things primarily that people want are access and convenience. And they knock that out of the park. Whether it be at the Regional Medical Center, if it's the Lake After Hours, if it's any of the specialty services that you may need, heart, stroke, cancer, pediatrics, you want the best. You want Our Lady of the Lake. You can learn more about the Championship Health Partnership, OLOLRMC.com/LSU, OLOLRMC.com/LSU. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, together we roar.